Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? That bio is live, bio is live. Especially with the bio bro. The bio bro. The bio bro. The bio bro. Especially in the bio bro show.
Isn't Bio the life or what? Alrighty guys, what's going on? The name's Bio Bro, and this is our 13th video. We're covering reptiles. Hoorah! From the class Reptilian. Alrighty, before we talk about reptiles, let's talk about amniotes, which is what a reptile is, as well as birds and mammals. They're all amniotes. So what are amniotes, you ask? Well, amniotes are basically a vertebrate that has a thin, tough membrane that encloses the embryo of the fetus. And it also keeps the organism from drying out, from like evaporating water and all that. Alrighty, so we're covering reptiles from the class Reptilian. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Don't be a chicken. Oh, come on! Reptiles aren't that scary. Do you know how amphibians have to lay eggs near water or on moist areas to keep the eggs from drying out? Well, amniotes, like reptiles, don't really have that kind of problem. Amniotes lay amniotic eggs, which basically keeps the embryo from drying out as it develops after they hatch. But they do not have to return to the wet environment to reproduce. Alrighty, now that we got that basic amniotic information out of the way, let's talk about reptiles in particular. Reptiles, they're basically ectotherms. You'll learn about that in a minute. They lay amniotic eggs, and they have dry skeleton plates. The four modern types of reptiles we have today are turtles, sphenodons, snakes and lizards, and crocodilians, which are basically crocodiles and alligators and all that. So without further ado, let's take a look at each one of them. Alrighty, so let's talk about turtles. Turtles, examples of sea turtles include the freshwater turtle and the sea turtle. I'm pretty sure you already knew that. What are the odds that you wouldn't? Alright, so turtles are the only remaining annelid group of amniotes. They have a bony shell. The domed part is called the caraplate. And the smooth ventral part is called the plastron. They also have large flippers, a shell, and short limbs, and they're omnivores. Alrighty, now next up is the sphenodonts. They're basically lizard and iguana-like, and they have a diaped shell, and they have an eye spot on the center of their head. An example of these guys are the tuatara. Alrighty, so next up we got the snakes and lizards. We pretty much know about these guys. Basically, they shed skin, they taste air through the tongue that collects particles from the air, and they're carnivorous, and they usually constrict or have poison on them. Examples include snakes, lizards, the Komodo dragons, and iguanas. Next up, we got pretty much the biggest reptiles of them all, the crocodilians. Really? Anyway, the crocodilians are semi-aquatic predators. They also live in swamps and lives in tropics or subtropics. They are ambush predators. They can run up to 27 kilometers, meaning 27 kilometers per hour, meaning they can outrun people. So do not try to beat a crocodile in a marathon. Alrighty, so examples of these crocodilians are crocodiles, alligators, caimans, and archosaurs. See? Learning about reptiles wasn't so bad, right? Really? 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 Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Alrighty, now that we got all the reptile information down, let's look at some good visuals. Let's do it. And for the record, the only time I would turn on reptiles at this point, I'm not really a reptile lover, but I'm not much of a discriminant person. But the only reason I would believe they would cause harm besides, besides actual they think the humans are about to attack or something, it would be if basically if they go. I plead the fifth. Alrighty, to start off, we got this excellent picture of an amniotic egg. So let's take a quick look, shall we? This green zone is the amnion. Meanwhile, we got the yolk sac, which basically provides all the nutrients for the organism within the embryo. Then next up, we got the allantois, which is basically covers the waste products and stuff. And that pretty much covers the amniotic egg. Alrighty, next up, we got the amniote hearts. Reptiles have the three-chambered hearts, while this one is for birds and mammals and stuff. I'll show you both right now, but just thought I'd let you know. Anyways, there's the septum right there, and there's the ventricle inside. And then there's the left atrium and the right atrium. And so basically, this blood comes from the lungs and goes out here to the body. This is the oxygen-rich one, while the oxygen-poor goes basically from the body to the lungs, and this pathway. Meanwhile, in four-chambered hearts, I know this is reptiles, this is like birds and mammals, but just thought I'd show you anyway. Alright, so here's this is very different. The septum is all the way. Meanwhile, the right ventricle is here, the right atrium is here. Yeah, they diagrammed this thing very weirdly, so that's, don't blame me about it, Right, this is the left atrium and the left ventricle. So basically, what happens is, oxygen rich from the lungs to the body goes from there. Meanwhile, from the body to the lungs, and boom, that pretty much covers the amniote hearts. Especially the hearts of reptiles. FYI, cold-blooded as they may be, reptiles are not heartless. Next, we got this neat chart on ectotherms and ectotherms. Basically, reptiles are ectotherms. This is where I was going to explain. So, since this is the reptile zone, let's start here. Ectotherms. Their body temperatures depend on their environment. They get a higher body temperature based on if they're in warm areas or not. They also regulate their temperature through behavior, and the bigger they are, the slower they cool down. Meanwhile, in endotherms, they use their own metabolic heat to keep themselves warm. They contract their muscles and shiver when they're cold. They sweat and pant when they're hot. When they're hot, as in the environment around them is full of heat, not necessarily the other type of hot we may think of. And most of them are most endotherms are covered in fur or feathers if they're birds. So that pretty much covers ectotherms and endotherms. Alrighty, so that covers our video over reptiles. And next up, we're going to cover birds from the class Aves. So anyways, that's basically our video. This is the Bio Bro signing off and saying bye-bye-o. Better go see who that is. Hello, who is it? You? never take me alive!